Hello and welcome to Vault of Horror. This week we'll be discussing the 1995 horror fantasy film The Prophecy. I'd like to introduce you to my special guest, co-host, friend, who likes to, I'd say, idolise Eric Stoltz after watching this film. Dan, is that true? Can you confirm these rumours?
I can confirm, and I can also confirm that when I was about 24, I grew my hair out like Eric Stoltz and had a little beard. So I think I got it just past just up to my shoulders. It lasted once it was fully grown, it lasted about 5 months.
Excellent.
For a little cough.
So the rumours are true. They're not rumours.
The rumours are true. Yeah. He had an impact. It was. I maintain it was his lifestyle from The Prophecy and not Pulp Fiction.
So for people that aren't aware, Eric Stoltz is in the film. We're not just going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And before we start, I'd just like to ask people out there, you kind people, to give us a like, share, and subscribe. If you like what we do, you know what? Even if you don't, even if you think we're absolutely terrible, give us a like anyway. Yeah, tell your friends. Tell us to like, dislike. Well, no, not dislike us, but like us. Let us know what we can do and requests, anything that you guys think we should be doing, or you want to argue our point and tell us that we don't know what we're talking about. Feel free to do that. So yes, Dan, The Prophecy, 1995.
Yep.
Written, directed by Gregory Wyden.
Yes.
So. A film I would say not that many people know about. Doing my due diligence this past couple of weeks,
Yep.
Watching the film again, whenever I tried to see what kind of review or anybody's opinion on the matter, specifically, YouTube, people just don't seem to have mentioned this film. There's maybe like one in-depth analysis of it. The rest of it of like. It's barely mentioned.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's such a shame.
It is. And for people that have not seen the film, and maybe this is the first thing they've heard about it, it is a horror fantasy, I would say, even though you could maybe call it a bit of a kind of routine kind of cop drama added into that. But it stars. I was going to say Gabriel Byrne then, but it doesn't star him. I think he probably wishes he did that, but it stars Christopher Walken as the Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah.
Now, essentially, there's a civil war happening in heaven, and Gabriel's come to Earth to look for the dark soul that he can use as a weapon to end the war.
Yeah.
And we have Thomas Daggett, who's a former priest about to be ordained, and he's now a police officer, and he gets embroiled in this kind of war where the angels come to Earth. So since this film, I would say there's been a few like it. I would say Legion, is that the Paul Bettany film?
Legion.
Paul Bettany film. I mean, we've had the TV series Supernatural as well, haven't we? Which could be leading. So maybe if people are going to visit this film now, it's not something that's totally out there, but I suppose at the time, it would have been like, when I saw it, it was like a little bit like blew my mind just for the subject matter. So starting at that, I can remember my mind being blown about it, but what about you? What was your first experience with The Prophecy, Dan?
I was, it was our mutual friend, Mr. Slack.
Nice
who had seen it and was going on about it, so it was just one of those things I searched out. Just happened to be on, I think, BBC One, and I don't think it's ever been shown on terrestrial TV since that point. It was, and it's a long time ago. I'm probably about 12 or 13, I think, when I saw it. Obviously knew Gregory Wyden's work from Highlander. And Backdraft, which I'm a big fan of both films.
Oh, great films.
And it was just one of those films that I got when it came on. It was on late at night, like at 11 o'clock or something like that. So I got my dad to record it on VHS.
Bless him.
Yeah, which he did, and I instantly fell in love with it. So much so that I went out and bought it ex-rental from Blockbuster. It had a massive, chunky, fat VHS case.
The best.
Yeah. Yeah, so it proper prompted me to go out on that. I think I bought the second and third one
Yeah.
as well, just based on watching the first
On
one.
Prophecy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, that was it. And felt the need to share it with whether I was that taken by it. Sorry to sort of go off a little tangent. I was that taken by it that when we were at college together, me and Mr. Slack wrote a spec script for basically a version of the prophecy, like you do when you hate what you love, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we even went as far as we bought trench coats and went out in the woods and we filmed like almost like a behind the scenes thing. Brilliant. Before we even made anything. It's so pretentious was to take these cameras out and do like film behind this. It was like I think honest. I'm really sorry to go off on one, but it started off with, I remember this. It started off with Paul sat in a tree, perching in a tree with his little dark glasses on, and he was playing the demon Abaddon. And he leapt out the tree. He was like, "Hi, I'm Paul Slack, and I play Abaddon in, I think it was called The Dark Eternal. I think that's what it's called."
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think we filmed a fight scene in the woods as well. We filmed like a full-on epic fight scene with swords, I think.
I think we need to get some footage of this.
Lost to time, mate. Lost to time.
Yeah, lost to time.
Yeah. Oh. Yourself?
You were the person that showed me. If you remember.
Welcome.
Yes, yeah, thank you very much. I can remember one summer, as we often, I think it was like 99 or 2000.
With your brother Nigel.
Yeah, I believe we. Yeah, definitely. It was absolutely then, and I think that it was a VHS copy I watched as well, I believe, and then after sitting watching it, absolutely enamoured with the movie, I went out and purchased all three of them. So no, I don't remember whether it was the 3 VHS versions or the 3 DVD box set. I'd looked today to see what you could get, foolishly looking for a Blu-ray copy, and saw the 3 DVD set, and I was like, oh yeah, I did have the 3 DVD set. Yeah, I didn't just buy them like all singularly, although there were just singular ones put into a shit box. So yeah, so again, I thought it was great, and I just don't see that many people that have really experienced the film. It's a bit of a shame, really. But
I was like that. Yeah, that's my experience. You mention it, and a lot of people go, "Oh well,
never heard of it." Yeah, it's a shame. So the cast and crew, it's not got the biggest cast.
But it's an impressive one.
Yes, it works to its advantage as well. So we have the well, it needs no introduction, does it? Christopher Walken needs absolutely none. He's brilliant.
What a legend.
Yeah. He was born to play this Gabriel role. He's fantastic. There's a few lines in throughout the sequels, but every line in this is just, there's just never a wasted line for him, never a wasted moment. He can sound so threatening, so friendly, so menacing.
The you're right. Yeah, his inflection, sort of like he's when he's angry and he's doing this sort of almost guttural growl to his voice.
Yeah.
But then when he's like talking to the kids, when he's looking for the dark soul in all those kids at the school, he's going, "Hello, ma'am." It's just showing the kids my trumpet. It's so like.
He's great.
He's wonderful. Yeah,
it is watching.
That's not a euphemism. By the way, it's not showing his kids trumpet. It's not.
He does have a trumpet. Yeah. Then we have Elias Koteas, I think it is. Yeah, he's the Canadian actor, great actor. People probably recognise him as Casey Jones.
Yes.
From the Turtles, but he's one of those actors that I've not seen him. I've seen him in quite a few little bits, but I've always thought he was great.
He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, and he's he's one of those actors that gets nowhere near enough recognition or work, but he's always absolutely loved by his peers.
Yeah.
I think saw Woody Harrelson, so enamoured with him.
Yeah, Gary Sinise is another one.
Yes.
Put him on that same sort of.
Yeah. Just fantastic, and he plays Thomas Daggett. He's the priest now, cop.
Yeah.
And he brings a bit of a I always want to say a likable De Niro.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It really does. Yeah,
Charm to proceedings, yeah. And then we have Virginia Madsen, who was coming. I don't know whether she was coming off Candyman or just before Candyman, because I think the film was shot and shelved for a couple of years before it was
yes,
released,
yeah,
which Miramax and Dimensions and the
mm,
Weinsteins always kind
yeah,
of did, didn't they? But she plays the teacher in the small town
yeah,
that looks after the kids, and she's quite a nice role actually. She gets to defend herself quite well,
yeah.
and she
She's
has
not
a few nice
just
moments.
she's not just sort of left to the wayside or a
Um,
weakened character because of her sex. She's a strong character, very protective, very you know,
yeah, I would say yeah, she's a strong female character definitely because she's a strong female character, not because she's female. She's just
mm,
her actions and
yeah,
the stuff. She's well
yeah,
written, really good, and you do get to see kind of both sides of her, a tough side and
yes,
and being scared. She's allowed to
yeah,
be scared as well, so it's good. Also gets to blow up trailers, which
yes.
is a bonus. Um, then we have Viggo Mortensen,
Oh my god.
and as a nice
Oh,
extended
or rather,
cameo.
yeah, or rather, oh, not my god.
Yes, yes. Oh, quite the opposite.
Yeah, he
He's
is. Sorry to. He's one of my favourite on-screen Lucifers,
yes, he's brilliant.
and he's in it for all of 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, he's
So good.
again, he's just got that kind of like silence around him.
Mm,
Like the entire, I know obviously they did, but it's like the entire crew was like extra quiet when he was delivering his lines. Like there's just
yeah.
that you can like cut the atmosphere.
Oh, you pay attention, don't you, when he speaks?
Yeah,
And what he has to say is just, again, it's sort of pivotal for the finale.
yeah,
He doesn't. Without go into too much. He does only appear towards the finale, but he doesn't interfere.
no,
It's the great thing about his character is that he's, he basically he doesn't care about the law in heaven. He just, he wants the natural order, right? There's been like a stopper put because of the war. There's been a stopper on where souls go, hasn't there? That's his thing.
yes, yeah,
So there's not many people getting into hell. Equally, not as many people getting into heaven.
yeah,
And he just wants the doors to be open again. He wants
yes,
business to get
yeah,
back in normal, and he doesn't want another hell. He doesn't want sort of hell on earth or anything.
yeah. One else, plenty enough,
Yeah, yeah,
as he says.
yeah.
And then we round off the cast, I would say, with Eric Stoltz.
Yes,
Plays
Simon.
Simon. Yeah, the angel. Again, another really good performance. Again, I think what I love about this film is you almost see that you clearly get, there's a good side depicted, but like when we get this confrontation between Christopher Walken and Eric Stoltz, it's almost like I don't know who's right, I don't know who's wrong. I'm just fed up and I'm bored. I want it to be over, and sometimes you just have to do as you're told. And
Yeah, yeah.
so again, it's like shades of grey. There's no black,
Yes.
there's no white, and that's what I do love about this film.
Mhm.
And he's got this very like when he finds Mary, who's the main girl, and there's been a lot of people complain about because when he finds this soul and he passes this soul onto it to hide it from Gabriel, it's like he has to. It's almost like mouth to mouth, isn't it?
Yeah,
He projects
That's it,
his soul
yeah.
into him. Yeah, absolutely. And he does have this like, hey, can you keep a secret? And he can play himself off. And I don't mean like the people have been complaining about. I just mean he can play this very like. Is he being good? Is he is he is he playing ball here? Is he out in the open? Is he hiding any motivation or anything? So again, and he's one of the good guys. So I think it's great. I think he's brilliant, and it's such a shame what happens to him, but never mind. So I think I would guess everybody can kind of tell that we're both enamored with the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's currently streaming on Amazon Prime for free if you've got it. It's not a rental purchase or anything, so definitely go and watch it. It's fantastic, but Is there? I mean, obviously, there's a film full of them. Probably. Well, what are some of your highlights of it? What's some of the things that make the film tick for you?
I think obviously it's subject matter. We've not done angels in films before have been depicted either, the sort of seraphim type, halo sort of gilded
Fannies,
sort of, all this like Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life, or we've not had these kind of we've not had warring angels before. We've not had sort of street fighting, sort of grubby. These angels aren't pretty. You find this one. Is it
Lucille, is it?
Lucille, yeah.
Lucille, yeah.
So he's got no eyes. It's got both sexual organs. He's the way they talk about his body, that it's fine, as if it was a fetus. Yeah. These aren't natural creatures, and I think the background stuff for me was really enjoyable to hear about all these. The First War was over, but the second was going. All this stuff, the history behind it. There's little moments like just having them perch on things. I love seeing them perch. At any moment, the standout moments for me, I think Eric Stoltz and Chris Walken's confrontation, I think, like you said, is brilliant. There's almost a sadness to it that, you've got Eric Stoltz saying that he's really tired, like you've already covered, but also Christopher Walken's side of that argument is that, you join us, we'll make it how it used to be. He's a very jealous character. His whole motivation, Christopher Walken's whole motivation, is that God has put humans above angels, and that's not good enough for Gabriel. That's not how it should be.
Not
bow down to no talking monkey.
Yeah.
I love the bit with Jerry.
Yeah, because for those who've not watched it, Gabriel, or whether it's just Gabriel, but or whether it's angels in general, but he can seem to like almost have like a servant, doesn't he? Like he can resurrect
like
maybe someone that's died.
Death, isn't it? Yeah,
death, yeah.
And Jerry's a suicide.
Because you see the knot, don't you? And the boat,
yeah. And it's the thing, you don't really get any kind of exposition about it until further on. But when you first introduce Jerry, it's this quite sad that bears love the honey loves the trees. Sort of a little stupid song. And Jerry's sort of like sat there and he's whinging. It's I'm not getting Gabriel. It's like Gabriel's already used him by this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what were you like? Soon, don't be a pest about it. It's like, come on, Jerry. It's like the only reason he really needs Jerry is because he can't drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I think it's like this in Prophecy 2. He resurrects someone else because he can't use a computer.
Yeah, is it Lizzie or something?
Yeah.
So
it's all this. He's got all this great power, but to get from A to B, he needs a ghoul essentially to drive him around.
I like it when he's in the diner because he gets a second.
Yeah, Amanda Plummer.
Amanda Plummer. Yeah, he does. And when they're leaving, because he gives her this, she's like doesn't want to go with him, and he like kind of he kind of scolded, doesn't he? And almost like force, and you can see that's like again is the veil he keeps up, and that power he's got. And the waitress, he says, well, it's not likely we'll meet again. And she's like, suits me. like off, joking off, kind of scared, and
it just oozes charisma, and like you said, the way he sort of flips from being calm and collected to this sort of angry, sort of vicious creature. And the great thing is they don't need any special effects for it. They don't need to emphasize this. It's all done in performance.
Well, there's a scene to me. One of my highlights is where Daggett and Gabriel come face to face in the church, and it's that kind of he knows who he is, and Daggett's like typical kind of cop, and like, who do you know I am, kind of antagonistic, and then he stands up and you kind of see him back down a little bit, Daggett, and then he says, look into my eyes, and you just get no effects, but there's just these like raging eyes behind it all, and it's just like, Wow, yeah, you wouldn't fuck with him.
Is that when he talks about the secret when he's on about
Yeah,
the
it talks.
philtrum? Yeah, isn't he? He's
Yes,
got that dent in above your upper lip. So when you and your mother's stomach or something like that, doesn't he? And he says,
yeah.
"I told you a secret. And I put my hand on your face and went shh."
Love that. Again, that's what a great
Yeah,
what a great idea.
yeah,
Especially that Gabriel hates all these human beings as somehow like had such an impact on our physical appearance, and
yeah,
yeah, he can't
yeah.
stand us.
Talking monkeys.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, Lucifer and Daggett. I mean, Lucifer's chat with Virginia Madsen's character when he's doing his bit of expedition that he want to go out and he starts eating that rosebud.
Yeah,
And there's a really nice bit where he's talking to her really calmly, and he's got this whisper, sort of Viggo Mortensen just whispering along, and then that sort of little weird demon monk thing sort of makes a noise, and he sort of roars at it, doesn't he? Sort of.
yeah,
But when Daggett says, "I need to go and talk to him,"
yeah.
and he goes, "Little Tommy Daggett." So he used to run across your bedroom at night and jump in your bed, so scared that I'd be under the bed. And I was.
I know. Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
is
such a great
so
line.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, I was. It's one of my favourite bits of all, like throughout the entire thing, because I just think it's so him. It's so old
yeah.
scratch, isn't it? It's just
Oh,
yeah,
it's fantastic. I the bit I really like there's you know there's the bit in the cave obviously where
mm,
Daggett and is it Catherine I think Virginia
yeah, yeah,
Madsen's character
yeah.
they see like the angels that are impaled the like kind of
Mm,
like the land's been decimated by them the
yeah.
death and they see it these screams and then uh, when we see Daggett's visions at the beginning and we see all
Yes.
that bloodshed and the scream and that is it's quite horrific actually
Yeah.
it's quite
Mm,
assault on your sense like we were saying last week it's that kind of like you feel a bit like uncomfortable when you
yes.
listen and
Yeah.
see it so imagine having that in your head 24/7
Yeah.
so and there's another part which I think is quite creepy and I don't know if it's just me Dan but it's especially I think I've noticed it each time, and it's been more impactful.
Mm,
The guy who plays Colonel Hawthorne, the dead between his eyes. There
yeah.
is nothing there,
Yeah.
and it is scary in black and
Mm,
white. It really is unsettling to look at.
yeah.
It's that's fantastic.
The thing also just to explain that the Colonel Hawthorne character was a colonel in the U.S. Military who
Yeah,
he was sort of the keeper of the dark soul.
yes,
He committed absolutely horrific war crimes. I think in Korea. Is that would that be? Was
did
Korea? Was it?
yeah
Was it
yeah.
Korea? Yeah.
It was yeah.
Um,
He sliced off people's faces and kept them
and
in a
kept, yeah,
box.
yeah, and he was tried,
Yeah,
um, and but I don't think he was ever convicted.
no,
Um, so that's but yeah, the Tom Daggett finds the old film reels that he's been
yeah.
sort of stuck away with the evidence. Sort of under his in his old uh, military cachet, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, because he's got his uniform and everything, hasn't he?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So he watches it over, and yeah, you're right. They did this black and white footage of the trial, but then the when they arrested him
yeah,
and everything, and yeah, it's just the black. His eyes are
yeah. There's no
stone dead.
effect. It's just great acting and
Mm,
the way they filmed it in black and white.
yeah,
It's really unnerving. It's that other worldly sense, but being set very much in the world. It's
yeah,
yeah, that really
yeah,
noticeable. Um, um, yeah, I just think again the subject matter. The subject matter is something that's like as a person who's not religious, I'm very open minded. So I'd never say
yeah,
I'd never believe at any point, but I'm not practicing. I have no faith at the moment. So to see something like this and a subject matter that we could all go, oh, yawn, because we
yeah,
get, let's face it, we get preached from the first time we go to school to anywhere about this. But actually, it's almost like the Matrix kind of takes
mm,
on God, and the original
yeah,
working title of the film is God's Army. So
yeah,
I've managed to find and read some of the shooting script, which does explain more about the Dark Soul and the war, and seems to have a few more angels in it. So I think they've obviously trimmed it back. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
budget thing or time, but I think it works. I think it's a nice little tale, and I think the last probably highlight for me is Elias Koteas. I think he just brings that kind of gravitas, like quietly though. He kind of, where you've got this like fantastic Christopher Walken character, you've got this fantastic it's Gabriel, Christopher Walken, you've got Viggo Mortensen at the end as Lucifer. So you've got these two larger than life characters that we've heard about. You've got this guy who's a priest who's had been shown too much by Evan that he's lost faith, not faith that there's in God, but faith because it's exactly the same up there as it is down here. So why bother?
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it's not a destiny, it's not a prophecy about him. Is he there at the wrong place at the wrong time?
Yeah.
Was he just a great priest? But he was just this man, and he's caught up in it now, and he's caught up back then. And I think it just adds that little crime drama part that keeps the story grounded, and I think it just makes it. I just think it works perfectly. I'd say.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. I think you're right. I think it has so many different facets going for it, and it doesn't let up either. It's it's so enjoyable. There's so many different things. It's like all the little bits that bring up the angel lore, and like you said, these little abilities that they have that just bringing people back from there. But it's sort of it's done in such a matter of fact way.
Yeah,
that works for it.
Yeah, it's a logical approach to if angels were around, they would probably not be showing off who they were.
Yes.
So fits in with the tone, which fits into our believability and things. So I'd agree with you. So issues. Would you say there's any issues with the film or any problems? I've got a few, not many. But what about yourself? Would you?
I would say that the thing that I kind of wish they didn't do is give not a physical presence, but a visual presence to the Dark Soul at the end. That's the thing that when it leaves Mary, it's sort of this sort of dark figure with elongated fingers sort of appears and sort of like screams as like the heavens open and take away. I wish they'd not done that. I think there's a couple of different ways they probably could have gone.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had to see it.
No, I think that's
because,
very much.
Sorry, because the power in the ending for me is not how Gabriel's dispatched, or anything. It's that he's lost the word. They talk about the word of God throughout, and people, and the whole thing with Tommy Daggett is that he heard God, and it was too much for him. And the thing with Gabriel is that he can't. It's not that he can't hear him; it's that God won't talk to him anymore.
Yeah,
because of what he's done and what he's doing. That side of things is more impactful to me. So I think that whole thing with the Dark Soul at the end probably could be handled a little bit different. Doesn't mean to say I don't enjoy it.
No, absolutely.
It doesn't take anything away. It's just But again, budgetary constraints. They probably felt like they had to show something as a payoff.
Yeah.
Most films do. Especially films from a few years ago.
I would say so. I think one way I have looked at that from a different perspective, and you feel free to tell me what you think. But again, I agree. I think maybe a bit more this day and age did be probably a tiny bit more restraint. Maybe it was a decision to go, guys, this is a fantasy horror. We do have some gore and some bits in it, but it's not in the traditional sense horror. So maybe they were pushed into it or something like that. But so it was a studio decision. But I always thought, especially maybe the third or fourth time viewing this, that the soul was actually corrupted by then. It's that dark, that festered, that bad, that it's actually almost like a demonic presence now. So, and we get to see how like inhuman it has become.
Yeah.
before it's zapped away. So that's maybe again and that's probably leads into my problem with the film is for the subject matter and the story. I want more. It could have done with 20 minutes more, I think,
Yeah.
just to flesh it out about the dark soul, about the exorcism at the end, because sometimes it's a blink and you'll miss it. I was watching the film a couple of nights ago, and I've not watched it for a few years, and then I'll be like, I might have either looked at my phone, dropped somebody a message, or just literally looked down for a second, looked up and thought, what? And I think and it's just, I think it is literally so quick, it's almost like it becomes a chase to the end
Yeah.
for them, which it is. It's after this dark soul. So I think like maybe a bit more time to explain about the dark soul. I wanted to see more of the like Jerry character because I wanted to see like how does that work? What do they need? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I
I
think a few more bits like that, and I think
I agree with the Jerry thing because I think I I don't know whether Amanda Plummer was because Amanda Plummer was sort of I mean she's a great actress anyway, but she just I think just done Pulp Fiction as well.
yes,
So she's a bit more prominent, and I don't know whether they just and obviously it was all Miramax and that was all
yeah,
Pulp Fiction, whether she I don't know contract or whatever. But I think they could have easily continued Jerry's character up to the finale.
yes,
And I think no offense to Amanda Plummer's character, but I think introducing another
yeah,
ghoul for a better
yeah.
choice of a better word,
Spider
another
eating
ghoul.
man bitch.
Yeah, that later on, it was nice to see him bring her back. I mean, it's a great scene when he walks into the hospital and he's looking at, recovering. Huh, who'd have thought? And sort of
He's just throwing the charts on the floor
yeah, throwing
like
charts. Yeah, it's like looking to see who's and he goes, it says something like critical. And he's like
my favourite.
my favourite. Yeah, so it goes in and brings it back. So it's nice to see that. But if we'd have seen that with Jerry, maybe on the
Yes.
noose at the start, and
Yeah.
him going, come back, promote Jerry, and sort of have the whole.
You could have had the POV shot with the camera going fuzzy, so his eyes are closing, and
Yeah,
then they're opening again almost
and
before they
Gabriel's
get to
there.
dark, and he's there, yeah, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Come on!" He's like, "What kind of?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's but again for me, this tiny, those tiny little things don't. I agree with you about it could have been longer, just because I want more of those characters.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think there's quite a few. Just again from the little bit of research that I did do before this, there is quite a few people that have said I enjoyed it so much more the second and third time because I got what was happening. So maybe it's because I'm forgetting my first time, as in like I loved it so much. But there's sometimes films I watch and go, I need to watch that again to find out exactly
yeah,
what was going off, which I think is great sometimes because when you film leaves something to your imagination, it stays with you longer.
yeah,
I would say, and I think that did it when I watched it with you. Me and you chatted about it after. I think I went and purchased it, watched it again.
yeah.
So I think that it's that fine balance where I think I could have done I think a little bit more explanation would have been great, but I think it's a balancing act.
I think more of the score from the start. You've got that sort of ethereal sort of choir
Yeah,
um,
fantastic
score.
score.
Yeah, it's a beautiful score. And then obviously the score changes to suit. So when they get sort of out in the desert and they're doing sort of more the Native American sort of stuff, you get a bit more sort of drums and
Yes,
and whatever. I think all of it fits where it's set because it's sort of more of a sort of Western setting and everything. I think I'd have preferred to have carried on that
yes.
first score, the first sort of
Yeah,
bit
absolutely.
through.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. And it does become like iconic within the series, that score as the sequels
Yeah,
go on. But yeah, I think, yeah, the little gripes in comparison to most stuff. It's just,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, definitely. I think it's just one of those things where sometimes you see a film and it's just you just think that it'd make a great TV series, especially this day and age, because there's so
Yeah.
much subject matter that you
Yeah.
sometimes are like, oh, I just want more, and that's great for a film to leave that.
Yeah.
So I think then I'm gonna have to push you for. I know we spoke about maybe some weaknesses, the list of strengths that we could go on all day about.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the best moment of the film, the standout moment of this film for you?
Well, that's difficult.
Or is it a performance?
I think I'd have to go down to the performance. I think it's Christopher Walken out and out. I think as much as everyone brings their A game to it, when they didn't have to, because it's such a small film relatively, compared to
absolutely,
budget wise as well. It's it could have easily been phoned in by by everyone in it.
Absolutely.
But Walken gives it his all, and you quoted it before we started recording, and that was the whole about never knowing the reason why, that quote that you sort of I don't know if you want to just share that with.
Are you talking about the quote about Daggett and Gabriel?
Yes. Yeah.
So this is actually my favourite moment in the film.
Yeah. I think this is.
So Gabriel, you think is about to seriously injure or kill Daggett, and and Daggett essentially asks Gabriel, he's like, well, why don't you just ask him? Why don't you ask God? And it's almost like Christopher Walken's character kind of just stiffens up, doesn't it? And he's just like, because he doesn't talk to me anymore. And it's like that silence, and it's almost like they stop the conflict, and he walks off and leaves Daggett to carry on and go and get the soul out of Mary, the young girl that it's inhabiting. But to me, it's just so powerful, because it's like the villain has stopped what he was going to do. He's stopped our hero from being taken out. And it's that recognition that they both are on the kind of understand each other. They both almost should be on the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite moment. I think it's so powerful.
It's almost so stoic.
Yes.
He's just, I don't know, mate. It's just so good. That quote as well about killing firstborns.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've just pulled it up. This is one of my favourite quotes, and he says, "This is Gabriel." He says, "I'm an angel. I kill firstborns while their mothers watch. I turn cities into salt, even when I feel like it. Rip the souls from little girls. And from now until kingdom come, the only thing you can count on your existence is never understanding why." It's so like,
and then he's got that, and don't be a pest about it. Kind of. I know he doesn't say that, but he's got that attitude about it, hasn't he, as well?
It's just such a fuck you moment. I don't have to explain myself to you, and you're never gonna find out why. So just let me get on with what I'm doing. It's such a, and it's a great thing about it. He carries it on through. I don't want to sort of go into much about the sequels, but he carries it on into the sequels.
Yes.
But he gets a development arc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is nice. Because a lot of characters, he could have carried on playing Gabriel as the villain throughout. I don't know too many spoilers or anything, but it's nice to see Walken getting to do something different with it.
Yeah.
So towards the end of that trilogy, because I know they've done 5, haven't they? But Walken's only in the first 3.
I think that completely ends it, and it becomes some weird stuff after that, like very cheap as well. But just because you've mentioned it, there's one of my favourite ever lines in any film is where Gabriel, now not a specific bad guy, is grabbed by another angel, and the other angel's like, I could kill you, I could take you out, it'd be so easy, too easy. And Christopher Walken delivers a fast food could kill me, a mugger could kill me, down here, not so tough hot shot. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Kind of I'm being threatened, and you can kill me out, but I'm still a fucking badass.
Yeah, that's it. It's just, I think that's, again, just to take a little thing out of the sequels. I think the idea behind these things not being beautiful, these angels aren't beautiful, holy creatures. The
Well, Daggett says when God wants anyone killing or taken out or to be made an example of, he sends his angels.
Yeah. So they are these quite in a lot of ways horrific things. Some of the stuff they do. I mean, the way Gabriel dispatches Simon is pretty horrific. He doesn't let him. It's not a quick death. He sets him on fire and is like, "No, not yet." You know. But it's the thing I want to just take about out of Prophecy 2 is when they get to Eden.
Yes.
And it's Eric
Roberts
who plays Michael.
Yeah.
And Eden's in it. It's an industrial.
Metropolis.
It's like a weird
factory,
sort of factory thing. It's like because it's been blighted by what mankind has done. All the purity's been ripped out of it because of what happened.
But he still gets to tell her not to eat the apple, which is
yeah. Which is that's fantastic. It's such a nice idea that it's gone so far the other way. All the grace has gone out of it completely. And I think, and that's the genesis in this, is that it's not whatever you believe or you think of angels and God and everything like that. It's not necessarily a pretty picture.
Yes, yeah. It's more knowing the world we live in. It's more what you expect heaven to be like. If we found out there definitely was one, it'd be warring and it'd be not in a paradise. It'd be corruptible like anywhere is. So I have to ask: is it a recommendation or not? I have to ask it. It's a silly question.
No, I do. I mean, it's the fact that it's on Amazon Prime. As part of your subscription, it's a film. It's on for like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
95 minutes.
95 minutes.
Something like that. It's well worth your time. Yeah. It is well worth your time, and it's better than some of its mid-90s sort of supernatural counterparts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's far better. Not just because of its subject matter, its performances. Again, we talk about this on the other channel, but we don't hold things back because of the times they were made, especially where effects and that are concerned. It gives it its all. And it's quite nice because Wyden's only written, well known for, like I said before, Highlander and Backdraft, but it's his first directing effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he does such a great job.
He does.
Yeah,
he
does.
And
it's well worth people's time. Highly recommended.
Yeah, even if you just get to, even if the film's just not your style, or you may be thinking it's a bit far-fetched, or it's not the genre for you, I guarantee you'll enjoy Christopher Walken's performance no matter what. It's fantastic. So I think you've got 2 recommendations there for The Prophecy.
Yeah.
So please go and watch it, and again, let us know what you thought. Let us know in our group chat, let us know on our social media accounts, let us know in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe, we really appreciate it. Do it, and don't be a pest about it. And I think it's about time that we close the vault for a week. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for watching, and good night.
Good night.